Welcome back to the fish room, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Today, I'm very excited to share with you the most recent DIY tank we've built for the fish room. And I think it might be the best aquarium we've built so far. This won't be so much a DIY construction tutorial, and we'll touch on why, but more so we're just going to be talking through the specifications of the tank, what we're keeping in it, and what our long-term plans are for it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. What we have here is a plywood aquarium. For those of you unfamiliar, you can make aquariums out of wood. You just have to know what you're doing and know how to waterproof them. So what we've built here is a 3 by 3 by 3 foot corner tank. Now that 3-foot height dimension, that's the kicker. That is a tall tank. And we were inspired to do this when we saw a tall aquarium with angelfish and tetras at a public aquarium. And we wanted to replicate that as much as we could in our fish room. So we built it out of wood, and we have 2 glass viewing panels that meet on the corner. And that's a good segue into explaining why we didn't make a DIY tutorial video for this build. And basically, there's a couple aspects to this tank design that were unfamiliar to us. And while we're very experienced with plywood and glass aquarium builds, and these variables are pretty minor. In theory, they shouldn't have changed anything. I still didn't want to make an instructional video without first having done them myself in reality. And it basically comes down to the height of the aquarium and the corner tank aspect. Now, this is the tallest tank we've built so far. Not by a lot, but still the tallest. And height shouldn't really matter in the build process, as long as you account for it properly in your materials calculations. But even so, we didn't want to put out a video on it without first testing it ourselves firsthand. And the second aspect that was new to us was a plywood corner tank, where the glass viewing panels meet directly on edge, and the structural integrity actually comes from the silicone joint, rather than any wood construction that the glass is just siliconed against for a seal. And again, that shouldn't have caused any issues in theory. All glass aquariums derive their structural integrity from the silicone seam at the glass joints. However, the combination of plywood aquarium and glass joints was new to us, so while there should have been no issues, we want to be cautious here at the channel and not put out any content until we're experienced with it firsthand. But enough about that. Let's get to the fun stuff and talk about the fish that we have in this aquarium. What you're looking at right now are the Philippine blue angelfish. And these are the star of the show in this tank. When we built an aquarium that was 3 foot tall, we had angelfish top of mind. These fish really maximize vertical space, not just with their tall bodies, but also with their swimming behavior. These fish utilize all layers of the aquarium, from the bottom to the mid to the top. And because we're using a lot of tall vertical decor in this aquarium, you get a lot of spawning behavior as well. We also have in this tank 5 gold severums, and they're a beautiful fish, but this probably won't be their long-term home. While the gallonage is more than enough at 200 gallons, the distance from the front to back or side to side, 3 foot, really isn't enough for these fish. They're just in here temporarily until we can rehome them to a more suitable size aquarium. But they're doing fine for now. They're good here for a little bit. We also have a group of panda cory cats, about 12 to 15, not really sure, they just keep on multiplying. But we got them in here and they love going up and down between the elevated back corner section and the lower lying front section. And finally, we have a couple super red bristlenose plecos for algae cleanup and a few random zebra danios that just made their way here from another tank. But let's touch briefly on the long-term plan for this aquarium after we move the severums out. We're going to bring in a big school of tetras, like a giant school. I'm thinking 50 to 100. And we're not sure what tetra it's going to be. Could be a cardinal, could be a lemon, we're not sure. But it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to share it with you guys when we get to that point. Now, before we end the video, I want to call attention to why I think this is the best DIY aquarium I've built so far. And it all comes down to the finishing. My earlier generation of aquariums looked very rough. But with this one, we put a nice plywood veneer wrap around it, and the key for me was finishing the edges off with this plastic corner banding. I think it adds a very sleek finished look to the overall product, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. But that pretty much covers everything for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you check us out again. With a basement full of fish tanks, there's so much more to show you. Have a good one.